Okay, so welcome to today's episode of um, the personal styles. Okay, so welcome to episode 2 of personal style series. So today I'm going to talk about aesthetic. I think like a lot of people are struggling with aesthetic and what it is. So I'm only going to define it as the way I know it from a fashion design perspective. So I hope that by defining it, that will give you some clear definitions and guidelines to how to understand aesthetic. So aesthetic is an expression of a style or look conveyed through design details, silhouettes, and colors. Um, so these are the three key elements that you have to understand in relation to fashion and what aesthetic is. So again, it's the design details, it's the silhouettes, and it's the colors. And I will tell you, what each part of these three elements are in terms of style aesthetic. So I'm going to show you here. Okay, so I am only talking the very basic four style aesthetic, and every other style aesthetic is a derivative of these four basic aesthetics. So um, the very first one that we all know, that's all over the internet, that's being promoted now as the in style or the in trend or the in look, is what I call the minimalist. So in the minimal style aesthetic, it's very basic in the design details, it's very basic in the silhouettes, and it's very neutral and basic in the color palette. So when you talk about the minimalist, this is the three defining characteristics of the minimal style aesthetic. Again, the design details are basic, the silhouettes are basic, and also the colors are basic. And then on the opposite spectrum, we have the maximalist. So the maximalist is more style aesthetic, and typically, in design details, it's very intricate and bold in design details. And then the silhouettes is also very bold and intricate. So it's not your typical minimalist, basic silhouettes. You know, um, then also the colors usually it's bold, as shown here. So when you look at this, you can identify that it is a maximal style aesthetic. Um, then we go to the feminine style aesthetic. So the feminine style aesthetic has, you know, um, it's a celebration of a woman's body. That's the way I defined it. So usually the styles are, cut into either frilly or sultry silhouettes that accentuate and celebrate the female form. Um, and a lot of times, like, that is what the feminine style aesthetic is. And usually the silhouettes are more curvier, in its design. And then the colors is also what we typically associate with a feminine color palette. Okay, and then on the opposite of the feminine is what I call edgy. And the edgy style aesthetic consists of a lot of masculine and androgynous design details. And also the silhouette is a lot more tailored and it's a lot more fitted. Um, and also the color palette is it's a very analogous or very monochromatic kind of color scheme. So I gave you the four basic aesthetic that all other style aesthetic usually come from. So so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And usually, like, in design details, and I'm sure, like, if you look at what I have created in my Pinterest boards, I have done in the Pinterest boards, what the mood is, what's the inspiration. So I think, like, when you are talking about style aesthetic and you really want to figure out what style aesthetic is, you have to kind of look for an inspiration point. of how you want to express your fashion style, you know, because again, like when I talk about personal style, you have to kind of personalize it to you and what you would like to wear, the colors you like to wear. And I've said, every color have shades and tints. You actually need to find the shades and tints that work for you. And I've gone into this video about, finding your skin tone. If you look at the YouTube channel, there is a whole, finding your skin undertone video that I clearly define how to find your skin undertone. And I know that a lot of people say that you can't wear this color or that color because you have this skin tone or that skin tone. I disagree with this wholeheartedly because if you know colors and you look at the whole video, I explain like, it's colors are broken down into three categories. So you have the shading of it. Shading of it is just adding like black to it. Then you have saturation. So it's the density of the color, and then you also have the tint. Tinting is adding white into it. So with all these three colors, you can, try to find the right shade of color or the right hue of color that works for your skin undertone. Um, so, um, so again, like, in this video, I really want to talk about style aesthetic and really clearly define what it is to help you kind of figure out what your style aesthetic is based on these four elements. And again, from these four elements, you could also combine different aesthetics to create your own aesthetic. Aesthetics like cottagecore or black academia or dark academia, all these are derivatives of these four basic style aesthetics. And combining it into creating your own unique style aesthetic is what I want you to work on, because I typically see people always just promoting this minimal style aesthetic as the choice. And I disagree with that because there's no reason why fashion designers and brands would put out new fashion if this is the only thing that you should wear, And people who have style, they don't necessarily need this, They might want a maximal style aesthetic. They might want something more intricate. They might find something that is more feminine they identify with. They might go into an edgy style aesthetic where they like masculine details in their design and aesthetic, So that's why I say that this is what's being promoted heavily on social media by influencers and stylists and whatnot. I see this a lot, and I wholeheartedly disagree with this from someone who's worked in fashion as long as I have for so many brands. We don't typically just do this, and if it's just this, like Logomania brands would not exist. A brand like Balenciaga would not exist with the Crocs. There's a lot of things that would not exist if this is the only goal that people are trying to promote. And I do not promote this as the only choice that you have. I think that you have a lot more choices once you understand how to style the clothes that are authentic to you, once you figure out what your style aesthetic is. So I had a comment from someone who said they want to dress like an orchid flower. So you can take elements of the orchid flower. So you could take the colors from it. You could take, shapes of the orchid. There's things that you can take elements of. So your orchid is your aesthetic board, right? And you need to decide like what elements you like about the orchid. And then taking that elements, then you need to find styles. So it could be color, it could be shapes, it could be the way that, the orchid flower appears with the green petals or something like that. So you could kind of figure out what it is that you like and try to recreate it in fashion as a way to express your unique style. And again, when I talk about personal style, I am talking about unique style to you. And I am not trying to sell you a cookie cutter of this, or this. I am trying to help you identify what it is that you like about a style aesthetic or two style aesthetic, taking elements of what you like, combining it to make sense for you and the way you want to wear clothes. Because I'm going to show you, okay, I'm going to show you this. Phoebe Philo, right? This is her style, right? This is what she designs. She has a very minimal style aesthetic, and you can identify that this is in relation to her brand. So she's kind of the brand ambassador for her brand, you know. So when when she was working Celine, she is the face of the brand, and when she's gonna launch her new brand, I think that it's gonna go back to this. But given that she is minimalist, and unfortunately, our dear departed Vivienne Westwood passed, but you see her style is nowhere to be confused with a Phoebe Philo. So you can see that she has a very maximalist aesthetic. And she is the brand ambassador for her designs. And you can see her aesthetic in her design. So this is like a thing about designers that they typically design around their own personal style aesthetic and their look, and usually designers of their own eponymous brand, they are usually the face and the brand ambassador. So you can see clearly that Vivienne Westwood is definitely the brand ambassador for her brand. So that's two styles that I talked about, and then we go to feminine style aesthetic. So this is Zimmerman, and these are the Zimmerman sisters. So you can kind of see that they also are the brand ambassador for their brand. So you can kind of see the style of what they create, and you can see what they typically wear. So they are the brand ambassador for a feminine style aesthetic of their brand Zimmerman. And then we go to Rick Owens. So Rick Owens is the brand ambassador. He has very androgynous design, as you can see here, right? And they are also very tailored. So that's what I mean. Like, once you understand the brand and what their style aesthetic is, it's easy for you to kind of pick and choose the styles that you could incorporate into your style aesthetic. So we talked about the fashion designers who have the four style aesthetics that I talked about. So let's talk about the people who wear it. Okay. Mae Musk, Elon Musk's mom. So she has a very minimal style aesthetic. You kind of see, right? It's very the white, the classic the classic silhouettes, the very basic colors, the basic cuts, the very minimal styles that design details. So she has a very minimal style aesthetic. You could identify it as, this minimal style aesthetic if I show you this. Then we go to a maximal style aesthetic, right? So I'm going to show you one of my favorite, Iris Apfel. You could definitely say that her personal style is more is more. She's all about color. She's all about embellishment. She's about more is more design details. That's her style. She has a signature look. You cannot say that she doesn't have a signature look. You know that when you see Iris Apfel, you expect this from her. So this is what I mean, that when you have a personal style, no one's going to call you no one's going to say you're trendy. No one's going to say you're out of style, because your style is uniquely to you and how you want to express yourself through fashion. So that's why I say that you really need to know what a style aesthetic is. Okay, I know people don't like her, but she is known to have a very distinct style, personal style. And I'm talking about Anna Wintour. So she has a very feminine style aesthetic. You see her in dresses all the time, in prints. She has like these bold colors. So a woman like her who has so much access to fashion, she still goes to her personal style. You know, she very rarely goes out of her comfort zone of her own personal style. So I know that people who don't get personal style, who don't like her, like to, you know, disparage her and saying that she does not have any fashion sense, when they do not realize that she actually has a great fashion sense to her own personal style. So you might not like her personal style, but she knows her personal style. Okay, another one of my favorites, Daphne Guinness. Okay, she has a very edgy style aesthetic. You know, it's very tailored. It's the color pairing of it is a very um, masculine color palette, and it's usually very tailored and it's very well expertly fitted to her. So again, like she has a very edgy style aesthetic, you know. So I mean, this is what I mean by when you actually have your own personal style. It doesn't matter if people say you're not trendy. I mean, you're trendy and you're not in fashion or whatever. They don't understand fashion because and they don't understand their personal style. And more often than not, people who make these comments, I feel like they're sheep. They are just following what everyone else is saying that is the in trend or what's in now. So what's in now might not be good for you and your body type and your lifestyle. So you actually need to find out like, does the trend work for you? And if it doesn't work for you, then can you take elements of a trend and personalize it to you with clothes from your wardrobe, right? That is authentic to your style aesthetic. And again, if personal style is not personal to you, like I said, I constantly say this all the time, is it's bullshit because um, like it's just fashion and you're just following trends, and if you follow trends and you're not wearing something that's authentic to you, that's identifiable to you, um like and like Miranda Priestly say, you got no style. Yeah, so again, I want to talk about um the the style aesthetic in this lesson. So the style aesthetic, it comes down to the way you want to express yourself through fashion, right? So in the style aesthetic, there are three elements that you need to keep in mind: the design details, the silhouettes, and the colors. They all play part in your style aesthetic, And I'm introducing only the four basic style aesthetic, and any of these four basic style aesthetics could be combined to create your own unique style aesthetic. I just want to be clear on that. So just because I present four does not mean that you have to cookie cut this. And I'm a big proponent of not cookie cutting anything. I believe that you should style the clothes the way you feel comfortable with. People might not get it, but when you wear it, you find joy in it. No one can tell you, and no one can give you joy in the clothes you wear other than you. And I really want people to really enjoy fashion because I constantly say, like, people who are working in fashion for fashion brands and design, um, if they're in the design team and they actually even the production team, like we in fashion, working for brands, we want the clothes that we are making to be loved and be worn by you. And we don't always want to do this kind of nonsense. Sometimes we want to do this, sometimes we want to do this, sometimes we want to do this. And yes, sometimes we also want to do this. So again, I want to, get people out of the mindset of just doing this. I want to get people comfortable with wearing things that they see on the runway, but giving you the tools and how to style it and how to understand things that are presented in the runway that is practical for you to kind of buy into your closet, to create outfits, to create a cohesive wardrobe that you enjoy wearing, that you don't have to go and replenish your wardrobe seasonally. So if you have a wardrobe that you curate based on your personal style, then you will find joy in going to your closet and creating outfits that you would love to wear every single day. And that's my ultimate goal, because I think that for all the talk about sustainability, about, you know, Zara doing this, you know, mass production, H&M, they're not. They're using so much water. They're using junky fabric. They'll have, you know, poor craftsmanship. We all know that at this point, you know, but knowing it and changing your mindset of not over consuming on fashion. And I think that once you understand that you don't need to go by the latest trend, you don't need to go and buy, you know, something that influence says that, you know, it's the in thing now, you know, fall 2022, it's the in trend now, and you must have it. Like, why must you have it if it doesn't fit in your personal style? If it doesn't fit into your style aesthetic, it doesn't make sense. They basically tell you to just buy clothes that, you know, that does not fit into your personal style, and then you get a complex about, you know, why doesn't it look good on you? I cannot wear it. It doesn't fit my body type. It looks off on me. And chances of you having that mindset will have you chucking that disposal fashion that you bought for cheap. Because again, when you are buying fast fashion, especially nowadays, where the quality is not as good as it was 10 years ago, it's definitely not as good as it was when fast fashion initially started. So I kind of want to change your mindset of helping you understand your style aesthetic, and then slowly curate the pieces that you actually want to wear, you know. And if you don't buy, you know, so sadly enough is that right now people are buying over 140 pieces of clothing each year. So if you reduce that to, let's just say, even if you reduce it to 40 pieces, you could save a lump sum of money to buy the high end stuff that's authentic to you, right? In your personal style, like high quality fashion that you want, that you said that you can't afford. Because I get a lot of comments to say like, I can't afford this. You can't afford it because you are spending so much money on replenishing, you know. And if you get off the mindset of replenishing your wardrobe consistently every season and buying the trends for the gram or whatever, or like, you don't need it, you know. And if you can create a wardrobe that's cohesive, that you could create multiple outfits, you could get different looks, you know. I've done a video here on TikTok, you know, how I wore that very intricate, you know, evening gown. I wore it into work, and I wore it to the ballet. So there's a way when you buy stuff that you authentic to you, that you can create multiple outfits if you know what it is, the tools that are useful for you to create multiple outfits. So that's what I really want to promote, and I really want to teach on this platform, because again, I think this is the only way for you to really authentically shop less and be more sustainable, you know. Because my ultimate goal is, you know, to have you as a consumer change your mindset, you know. Shop less, you know. Don't overconsume on fashion. I don't care if it's fast fashion, if it's thrifting, or it's buying, you know, fashion on sale. Because if you're over consuming, you know, regardless of how you over consume, it's still the practice of the mindset is, I got it on cheap, so I don't value as much. And I bought it for cheap, you know, so even if it doesn't fit me, I would just dispose of it if I don't like it. And that's the mindset I want to, you know, change. And I really want you to really change this mindset of, if I know what my aesthetic is, if I know what my personal style is, and if I start curating a wardrobe that's authentic to me and my personal style, I would most likely change my mindset of over consuming on fashion. And that's my ultimate goal. So, anyway, so that wraps up for this session, episode 2. It's gonna replay on YouTube. I think sometime next week once I download a video and I upload it on YouTube. So if you miss anything, it's gonna be available. All my lives are available on YouTube. I try to make it accessible, so I do try not to because not everyone has the time that fits perfectly to the time that I am available to do these lives. I don't want to, gatekeep any information that I'm sharing. And I really want to share that information that I know to help you really be a wiser consumer of fashion. And I hope that this will really change the narrative of sustainable fashion. And that's my goal. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. I also need to wrap up because I actually have to go to a dinner. So let me go see if any of you have any questions and I will do my best to answer. Okay. Okay. You're a fashion stylist in Miami and you love my stuff. I appreciate it because I really want to share what I have learned through all my years in fashion. And I've been in the industry 32 years, I think, maybe 33, going on 2023. Um, and I've worked for a lot of fashion brands. I've, worked for a brand as, department head. I've worked in product development. I've done consulting, which is why I've worked for so many brands because I've done a lot of consulting work also. Um, and I, I would say that I'm not that well versed in menswear, and I know that there are men who follow me on here, and there are things that I know in a broader sense because I've worked in menswear for a little bit, but for the most part, I would say that my expertise is in women's wear, and I know women's wear inside out because I've worked for so many brands, and because I've been in the industry for so long, and that's why I know what I know. And I would say that as much as I know, I'm still constantly learning new things because new technology is coming out every single day. New brands are coming out. New ways of designing are coming out. There are new creative people that bring new synergy, and I'm always very interested in it. So yeah, so my expertise is in women's wear, and I'm glad that as a fashion stylist in Miami that you find that my information is useful because again my whole goal is to teach people about personal style, to really enjoy fashion in the clothes, not the luxury bag, not the issue, not the jewelry, not all the stuff, but actual clothes, and clothes that make us women look good. And that's the thing that I really want to emphasize because I think this is like a thing that, and I will talk about it a little more next week and next week's episode. I really want to talk about how men and women design differently, and women tend to design with all our body issues in mind. Um, and just because I've worked with so many brands in the conversation of how women talk about design and how men talk about design is definitely completely different. It's very interesting. I will talk about it next week. Uh, okay, I love all of them, and that's why I can't have an aesthetic. You can love all of these aesthetics, but you need to just pick out elements of what you like about all these aesthetics and create something that's uniquely to you. So again, I don't want to pigeonhole you and say that because I'm presenting you in four basic, style aesthetics that you need to do exactly these four basic style aesthetics. Again, I said that you could combine style aesthetics and you just need to know what the elements of the style aesthetics that you like about it and try to create it that's uniquely to you. And again, personal style is personal to you. I cannot tell you it's this or that. I can give you style tips in how to create outfits, to maximize what you have, not to go out and to do shopping for new clothes. Because a lot of times you actually have great pieces in your wardrobe. You just don't know how to style it to an aesthetic. And I think that is the tricky part. And I think that in all my session in personal styling, I think that is the thing that I see all across the board with my clients, is that they don't know that, how to create an aesthetic, with with the pieces in their wardrobe, and style it into a way that is uniquely to them. And I think that is what I'm trying to, get you to think about, and if you are still struggling with your personal style, you could book a session with me, and I will give you, a lot, because I give you I give you an assessment first, so to get to know you. I give you a 2 hour session, and I give you a final report with our session. So a lot of people who have done the session, like, there's practical advice that you can give. I give you a booklet, an analysis, a report, so you can actually use the information that I share with you in the styling session that's uniquely to you. I don't want to cookie cut it to, it's only this, 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 this. Because again, I've always said, how I style something and how you style something is two different things. And the way I style something is authentic to my personal style and my lifestyle. So when I style things for you, I create it for uniquely for you and your lifestyle, based on your profession, based on what you want to do, based on your overall look. Oh, there's a lot of things are involved. So anyway, let me see if there's any more comments. I don't know what it means. Okay, bangles. Okay, this is so helpful. I am glad that it's helpful. I think I am still trying to figure out my personal style. So if you're still trying to figure out your personal style, this is why I'm doing, this personal style series. This is only episode 2. You could always catch episode 1 from last week. It's right now. It's on YouTube, and this live will be on YouTube next week. So I am trying to give you information to kind of help you if you can't get a session with me. I could give you general guidelines and stuff like that. So I hope that, you follow with the series and you take in some useful information. Even if you don't get all of it, there is some little thing that you might take away that will help you. And I'm hoping that that's something that, I mean, it would make me happy if you just took away one thing from this session, that will help you with the personal style. Would I do the same approach for men? I don't know what you mean by that. So in styling with men, there are different rules for it, and there are different rules even in the fit. And generally, I think that if you're talking about assessment, and giving a session, all this stuff, like, it is the same, but the style tips are definitely different, because, how men wear clothes and the psychology with clothes, it's almost the direct opposite of how women, style clothes and how they think about clothes. So, if you need any more information, you could also just message me on Instagram, and I will try to answer you. Okay. Okay, thank you. I was so looking to style session. Okay, so this is a thing. I think tomorrow is the last day that I am putting the styling sessions on sale. I think because I had to extend it because I had some sick days and stuff like that, and I kind of have to extend it, But starting in 2023, it goes back into the full price. Um, but I will talk about it, in a video, kind of give you an update on what's going on. I am all backed up with all the stuff that I need to do, just because I've been out sick, I think like almost 3.5 weeks in November. So yes, I signed out late, but I will catch. I was Okay, if you sign up late, don't worry. Again, this live video will go into YouTube. Again, like I am trying to create content to help people to really shop less. My ultimate goal is to get you as a consumer to stop over consuming in fashion and really enjoy wearing fashion again and buying the high quality fashion and buying the stuff that is authentic to you and buying those clothes that you see in the runway that you want to wear but you can't figure out how. I'm trying to give you all the things that I've learned in all my years of being in the fashion industry to help you to wear the fashion that you see on the runway. Because as someone who has been in fashion, who designs and who have my own Palace brand, my ultimate goal is to have you wear the fashion, not just this, but this, a combination of this. That's my goal. So anyway, if there's no more questions, I am going to check out because I actually need to run to dinner and I actually need to go change and all this stuff. So anyway, I will be back here next week with episode 3, lesson 3. So stay tuned for that. Okay, bye.